The defection of Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, his predecessor Ufeli Okowa, and the entire Delta PDP chapter to the All Progressives Congress (APC) has sent shockwaves through Nigeria's political sphere, signaling a seismic shift ahead of the 2027 elections. The move, described as a monumental tsunami by APC leaders, clearly demonstrated the ruling party's aggressive consolidation of power and the PDP's deepening crisis. Delta, a long-time PDP stronghold, now tilts towards the APC, with defectors citing the need to align with the federal government for development and avoid a sinking boat, PDP. The APC's growing dominance raises fears of a one-party state eroding democratic checks and balances. Analysts warn that weakened opposition could enable authoritarian tendencies, stifling accountability. Meanwhile, the PDP faces existential threats, with governors in Akwa Ibom, Taraba, and Rivers reportedly weighing defections to secure federal backing for re-election bids. As Tinubu's renewed hope agenda attracts defectors, the 2027 contest may hinge on whether opposition parties can forge a viable coalition. For now, the APC's momentum appears unstoppable, with Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma predicting an unstoppable wave of defections. We'll now take some perspectives on the gale of defections sweeping through Nigeria and particularly the implications ahead of the 2027 elections. A lawyer, Evans Ufeli, joins us now. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Now, we've seen the drama going on in Nigeria's political parties, especially the PDP and the APC. Now, as a legal practitioner, looking at Nigeria's constitution, I know there have been different arguments as to the fact that the constitution is not clear on whether a governor should lose his position when he leaves the political party, the vehicle that drove him to power. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, that's just the truth, that the Constitution did not specifically state what should happen to the executive, where the governor falls at. But the Constitution made express provision as to what will happen to a lawmaker, whether at the state level or at the federal level. In the case where he defects from his political party to another political party, where there's no discord, where there's no rancor in his party and the rest of that.
But that didn't happen in River State, just to button.
Well, that's by the wayside. But you see, I am not just speaking as a lawyer, I'm speaking as an indigene of Delta State, a stakeholder of that state. I am the president of the concerned citizens of Delta State. And the governor and his predecessor have made this declaration some days ago and have informed the public, wrongly so, that they are doing that to bring development to Delta State. That's a lie. It's a big lie. In fact, the governor, his predecessor, and their cohorts are actually the black sheep of the state. Ask them, what is the investment? What is the investment of this government or their government from Ibori's time to now on the citizens? Nothing. There's no meaningful development in Delta State because our funds are being stolen by our leaders. If you put together what James Ibori alone stole before he was convicted by the court in the UK, put together what Okowa stole, 1.3 trillion, was what he used to run a white elephant project of following Atiku to become the vice president of Nigeria. Atiku that have no political capital. He took that loan as at the time he was amassing all those funds that belonged to Delta State to go for that chase that became regrettably. The current governor used to be the Speaker of the State House. He was the one approving all the funds. So what they have done is because of the EFCC case that Okowa is now being faced with, it was easy for him to go and convince the current governor because all along they were both working in criminal concert. So even the current governor is just a matter of time. It's just because of immunity. It's in the same ship with Okowa, and that's what they have done. So what we are saying, the concerned citizens of Delta State, we are saying that they should not drag us into that cesspit. We are not part of the cesspit, I am about the only dissenting voice on this issue because people are scared. They cannot talk. A lot of them in their closets when we discuss. Even many of those who defected with them are not happy about what they are doing or what they have done because they do not represent us. They represent their pocket, their family, their ambition, and the rest of that. They do not represent Deltans. And somebody must say the truth at some point because for the past 5 days, the news they have been the one going around all TV stations, all radio stations talking about this, and it doesn't look like the citizens are comfortable with what has happened. Somebody have told me that, look at the mammoth crowd that came out. I said, we know how they got the crowd. We know how they got the crowd. So the Commonwealth of Delta State is being embezzled by our leaders and their cohorts, and they don't have the interests of the citizens at heart. So we must say this, that we are not in concert with them. We are not in agreement with what they are doing. They are on their own frolic because they have the opportunity to have access to the Commonwealth of Delta State. They have turned it into their own private enterprise.
So are you saying that now because the governor has defected, or did he just start embezzling the state funds?
If you check my record, you need to check my record. If you go and check, I've been saying this all the time. When Okowa was a governor, when they rehabilitated 12-11 roads, there was none in Ndokwa area, and we contested it then. We even went to court. I filed a case in court against the governor to contest that. And they came with some fraudulent information that they did 27 roads and the rest of that. When they upgraded 3 higher institutions, to universities, none was in Ndokwa area. And I came up and I said, this is wrong. We went to court and we did all that, So they've been doing the wrong things for a very long time. But our people are scared of talking, even those in their government, even those that claim to be defecting with them. PDP, Delta State is a foundational member of the PDP since 1999. Then you wake up one morning, you say you want to take the people to the center, and you want to align with the federal. Let me ask you this question. When the current president, Tinubu, was in AC, when the PDP had almost taken over the Southwest, did he defect to another political? Did he defect to PDP or whichever party? If he had done that, would he become the president today? He stood his ground because he's principled. For the first time, I talk good about the president because he stood his ground and he made sure that he did all to ensure that the party grew from strength to strength. Why didn't the PDP do? Why are they not doing that?
Very good question, Lucky. And because of time, let me just come in here. Based on what you've just said, I've asked this question before from our previous, guest. So, in delivering good governance, do you think there's any need for defection for an incumbent into another political party, even if that party is in disarray or has issues? The charisma of the leader of that party, or the leader, or the person in charge in that state, shouldn't account for any other misgivings about that political party. Aren't people voting for that same leader to deliver? So, does it make any sense to move to another party, as it were?
It doesn't make any sense. That's what we're saying. Because they are saying that is to give Delta State development. The defection have not added a kobo to the revenue of Delta State. So it's just to shield themselves from criminal prosecution and criminal liability. That's exactly what it is. And let us state it here and clear that Okowa must face the EFCC. 1.3 trillion of the Commonwealth of a state misappropriated. Then you turn around the next day and say that you are moving the state, you are repositioning the state. I heard the previous guest who is talking about how the defection is reshaping Delta politics. It's not reshaping anything. The state is in shambles. There is no meaningful development. Apart from 1 or 2 roads that have been constructed by the president, the past, we must look into the past. And we must look ahead into the future. But ultimately, the people of Delta State are the people who are most affected here. And we are saying that we did not send these people to do what they are doing. We didn't send them. They do not represent us. They are the black sheep of Delta State. They are the ones embezzling the fund and underdeveloping Delta State. And as such, we cannot give in to this because for the past 5 days, the whole place has been as if the citizens really had an agreement with their leaders to defect. They made it look like that and the rest of that. That is not true. The citizens are not happy, okay, with the style of leadership. They are not happy that their funds are being misappropriated without consequences. They are not happy that the state is not moving forward. And we woke up one morning and we're hearing this. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And we're calling on the EFCC and the relevant authorities to prosecute our leaders. Oborevwori had served his term, okay? The current ones all need to be prosecuted, because if you come to the state, you will not believe that the kind of resources that have gone through that state, you will not believe it passed through that state because of the level of poverty there and the kind of lifestyle our leaders have thrown us into. We're oil producing state for Christ's sake. Okay, in Okowa we have the largest gas this in the world. And we have all the necessary resources to have a state that is formidable and all that. But you now have leaders who have used the resources in their own personal, for their own personal gains and for their families. And we're saying, no, it's unacceptable.
All right. Well, we've heard you, and we hope that the needful is done in Delta State. But just a point of correction, the earlier guest didn't say that it was reshaping the state in a good way. He was also in alignment with some of the things you've said. Well, we must thank you, Evans Ufeli, legal practitioner, for your time on the show.
My pleasure.